And we're live. Hello and welcome everyone back to the Collective Minds podcast. Tonight you got me, Astral, Austin, and your boy Jay. Nathan might be popping in. Guess we'll find out. It's always a mystery. Typically, though, he is in the chat, so that's the cool part. When Nathan is not here, he is still here in spirit and in messages. So, how you been doing, Jay?
Okay. Been self-reflecting,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's okay. Surviving. Can't can't say I'm struggling, but I'm not doing good too, Like
right.
I'm just riding the wave.
I love that. I love that you just said that. I feel like everyone out there these days is feeling the heat, right? The temperature increasing, everything's getting harder. All commercials were different just a couple of years ago, and now it's all about decreasing your debt and how about how everyone's using credit cards to buy food, huge gaps in payment. I mean, it's getting hard out there. And we
Yeah.
talk about this frequently, right? With like COVID, the injections, people having issues mentally and financially. Just the struggle is real these days. And I just went out today, went shopping, and we were leaving, went to put my cart away, and some lady whipped in and almost hit me while I'm putting the cart away, and then she just sat there and mean mugged me. Waited for me to move, then whipped in, and then was just like got out of her car and just stepped to the side and was just mean mugging me. And I'm like, what did I do? You know, but it's, you see it in the driving. You see it when you go to a grocery store and you go to check out and people are just rude. I just got chicken like an hour ago. A lady was angry that I was there. It's not late. It's not, there's no shift change or anything. She's just mad she had to do her job.
Yeah, it's as if people don't care anymore.
Hmm.
Like they just stop giving a shit.
It's sad. It's difficult. It's, you got to remind yourself like these are people and they're going through something, and it's, you've never been able to see it as much as you can now that these people have problems in their own life nowadays.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah, and you're really, it's everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. My favorite's government, when it's our tax dollars and you call them or show up and they try to interrupt you and be rude to you, and that's when you got to sit there and pull out the old yeah, no, you work for me, don't interrupt me, you're going to do your job. Now it's harder to do that to a 23-year-old selling you something across a counter, just because, yeah, their life is probably crap. I mean, with the rent today, with the wages that people are making, it's taken two, three, four people in an apartment just to fund that apartment, just to pay for it, just to pay rent. My first rent, what's it been? I don't know. It's been a minute, but anyway, it was like $350. $350. When I first moved to the area I'm in now, it was 500. Went up to 550 during COVID. A couple years in, switched up, doubled, more than doubled, and then now it's more than doubled from that. So 2 grand is about the average rent around here. And even in the situation I'm in now, I'm very lucky. But I'm not very lucky in many ways. Not going to say it's super easy. We're doing great, right? I think everyone in the US, in the world right now, can really feel that. And apparently in the news, it's just going to get harder. I wanted to
Yeah.
play this. Wanted to play this video for you. I just thought it was funny while I was waiting. It says this is totally wild. 10 days before Mitch McConnell completely disappeared, he was in the Senate for nearly 20 hours and almost never moved. And that's him right there. You can see the guy next to him moving.
He barely moves.
Mm-hmm. 20 hours.
You have to at least shift. You can't sit like that for 20 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
Well, shift your butt cheek to one side,
Someone shake him. Reminds me of those movies where they like grab him and moving him around, making people think they're alive. But yeah, it doesn't move a lot. There was some girl in the White House just what, a week ago, if that. Some influencer, right? And she was standing there smiling all weird, moving her head and neck around like a robot. There's people saying it's a robot. Data centers, robots, flat cameras. We are in a incredible age right now. So, I mean, someone's doing good. It's definitely not the average Joe, right? But Elon Musk being worth $1 trillion now, these industries taking over. Now there's cameras on every street all over the US. These companies are blowing up, these tech companies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it jumps on. So there's a couple things I want to get into. I know that we talked about, well, let's hit this first. So in 2024, a couple years ago, a bunch of Mexicans in Mexico burned down an Israeli embassy. And kind of jump forward now, I guess this just happened. US and Israeli policies were criticized in Mexico, and they burned a statue of Baal. So go go woke Mexico. Let me pull that up real quick. Screen share. There we go. Window. Bam. Just thought that was funny as well. I love while I'm waiting, if I come across something good, I just pop it up. So mad respect to the Mexicans. And it's interesting because this has been happening across many countries where they're burning the Baphomet or the Baal statue. Everyone knows. The synagogue of Satan, right?
Yep.
But energy, right? The grid's extreme heat problem is changing. So this is going to go into people struggling because apparently, right, if they are controlling the weather, they're assholes and contributing very, very bad weather to the US, intensifying it and putting more of a damper on our energy grid. While it's expensive and becoming more and more expensive to get energy. So it says the grid's extreme heat problem is changing. Solar energy and batteries are making it easier for utilities to meet surging electricity demand during extreme heat, but prolonged high temperatures are exposing other vulnerabilities in the grid. It says why it matters. Electricity demand rises as air conditioners work harder in extreme heat, while high temperatures can make parts of the system less efficient and put additional stress on equipment. The big picture, climate change is extending periods of extreme heat just as electrification and data centers add new loads, leaving parts of the grid working harder for longer. So, data centers take a lot of electricity. About to go over it, but we don't have enough electricity. We don't have enough oil. We're unable to get it. People are unable to make it. And then there's a war, two wars actually, that are stopping us from being able to work on getting or making those things. People are doing very good. It might just be a couple of them, but the rest of us are screwed. What have you heard about the weather coming up, Jay? You've heard
Well,
anything?
I know that we're in a super El Nino. um, I've been monitoring the Pacific with all those hurricanes just popping up one after the other, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Well, not hurricanes, but tropical storms that turns into hurricanes. Um, you got historic rain and flooding up north here in the U.S. Record heat down in the Southwest, mainly in like Arizona, but Nevada area. Um, Not really record, but elevated above average type of temperatures, just all in the south.
right. It's been a crazy year. We had no winter in Oregon, no real winter.
Well, it was like short, like it was like here and then gone.
Yeah, well, we didn't even have snow really. I think it snowed just a couple times and it was gone, like day of,
Yeah, it was like
next day.
here and gone.
I mean, I've lived here my entire life. It's not normal. We'll have weak winters, but a weak winter for us just means we ended up with 2 weeks straight of snow, right? And then it turns to ice or it turns to slush, refreezes, turns to ice. But a bad winter is when they start shutting down major highways and even smaller highways because it's just feet and feet of snow.
Right.
And we didn't have any of that. And I think it was the last podcast, right? Or maybe it was the one right before when I said the West Coast is going to burn this year. Time stamped it 2 days later after saying it. The entire West Coast is on fire. There was a big ass fire less than a mile from my house. Luckily, the wind shifted, and then unluckily, it went straight towards another town. Went around the town, went up a mountain, turning. It's still going. Huge. It's been going for like a month and a half. So you can hear it in my throat, but we've just been breathing in smoke for like a month and a half, going on 2 months now. And it's you wake up, the sky is orange. It's bad news, but all of the West Coast is burning, and then Canada, of course, again. But that's not normal either.
Yeah, I was gonna mention Canada too.
And we have wildfires every year, but not like this. And I feel like it's planned. I know it's planned because I could call it 2 days before it happened. And how it happens is a fire starts, or they start it, they let it get bigger, it gets out of control. Oh no, what do we do? And then it burns and burns and burns everything down. And then all of a sudden, the landroids start to change. And certain fire departments are being sued at the moment because of that fire, because they told everyone, get out, you're going to die. And then they stood there and could have stopped it, didn't even spray a mist of water on these fires, and let it burn down these people's houses. Huge news where I'm at right now.
I'm surprised it's not national news.
Right. It might be here soon. It's in the beginning stages. They held like a big press conference at it about it, and the owners of those houses were up there just like screaming at this department, and they were saying, no, it wasn't us, it was someone, trying to shift the blame, and you couldn't. Like, not everyone's stupid. When you're in places with woods and forest fires, like we're not inner city people, have no idea how this works. Like, they know what they're talking about, they know who's to blame, and they couldn't quite shift it. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being big news. It's a big deal. It's extremely sad because a lot of these people, it's their whole livelihoods. And one of the guys that was next to, like, he's a farmer, and his house was out there next to these other people's. Well, he just called up his farmer buddies, and him and his couple friends stopped his house from burning down with garden hoses. And it was just like train lengths of fire trucks out there, not using any of the water. So tell me it's a plan, right? Without telling me it's a plan. If you're just going to shift the blame after you get caught not doing your job, which goes back to that. People are just mad to do their job these days, and it's ridiculous. But I mean, living paycheck to paycheck and probably, I mean, skipping meals and stuff for a lot of people, I could see why they're angry. Jump over to this one. This is all going to link up together. So, largest U.S. grids transmission constraint cost surged to $6 billion in 2026. August 21st, routers congestion costs on PJM, the largest U.S. power grid, surged 43% to $6 billion during the first half of this year as overloads on high voltage transmission lines escalated. The grid's independent watchdog said this week transmission bottlenecks on the grid during stressful events like storms were the single biggest driver of the increase in soaring wholesale electricity costs, according to monitoring analytics. So there is this huge correlation that we're going to get into to they're shoving in data centers secretly. They're starting wars that are destroying our capacity for oil, just energy. And there's these crazy weather situations happening all over that are causing the grid to overload, causing the prices to go sky high. It's definitely being attacked. And you said earlier that it's all part of the plan. So I want to hear more on that. Because the costs ultimately will hit consumers' monthly bills as the PJM market strains to keep pace with booming power demand from data centers, electric vehicles, and heat pumps.
Yeah. I guess this goes back to Trump trying to reduce the prices on the at the pumps by releasing our strategic uh, oil reserves. He started to set it out of country and being used within the country. Um, that's where it all starts, and we haven't stopped. We haven't stopped selling that oil. Um, I think the limit is like 14 million barrels. Once we hit that, it's like we stop, and it's only reserved for the military type of thing. But yeah, according to analysts, we're like weeks away from running out, and once that happens, you're gonna start seeing the prices at the pump start going up, because this not only this country but everywhere around the world, the world runs on diesel. Everything is moved by diesel.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you can fly places, but once they arrive at the airport, what's moving it from the airport to distribution centers,
The
the
trucks.
markets? Yeah, they're all fueled by diesel. And then if the cost of diesel goes up, that cost will be passed on to you. So
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a
so
huge chain reaction.
yeah, diesel goes up at the pump. The truckers gotta pay for that, right? So they gotta pass that cost on to you, and whatever goods that they're hauling, that they're gonna bill that company or that manufacturer or that store,
Mm-hmm.
and then they gotta subsequently raise their prices on selling
Yep.
whatever product they're doing or selling.
Yep. No one's going to take the hit for that other than the very last consumer. Right? That's what it's going to be. And we're already in an insanely inflated market after COVID. We've never recovered. I mean, gas is almost $5 here again, slowly creeping up 20 cents at a time. I can't imagine what it's going to be. Because not only are we running out of reserves, we can't make enough. China stopped selling it because they can't even make enough for their own people. Russia's down because of the war. They can't make enough. Therefore, they can't get it. The US is just lying, honestly. I mean, we can't make enough for ourselves. And then Iran, 20% of all the oil, 20% of, or no, is it a third? A third of the world's oil in the Middle East, 20% of its refineries are down, which is insane. So like the biggest drug dealer on the market or dealer, right? Oil dealer in this case, 20% of it's cut off, which doesn't seem like a big number, but when you're talking about the entire world, that number is huge. And then at the same time, we need all of this stuff. Our electrical grid is going out too. It's super old. We're just throwing more and more at it. They'll upgrade us from 3G to 4G to 5G. And we're on the same energy grid we've always been on. And they're just adding more of this crap to it. Now data centers. And then crazy weather events. This reminds me of the rolling blackout theories. That's what this sounds like. Like they're going to have to start rationing power here soon.
Well, what if it's not accidental storms that's turning these cities, these counties, to basically turning them off? What if it's not storms? What if it's not natural disasters? What if it's intentional? And that is the plan, rolling blackouts.
That's That's what I want to expand on more about this. Here, Nathan's jumping in. What's up, Nathan?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, loud and clear, buddy.
Ooh, baby. First shot.
We were just talking about yeah, the energy grid and how it's going to hell, and it seems to be planned. And Jay was just about to go into how it may be part of a plan, which I too many coincidences on this one. I don't think it's accidental, and it involves the entire world and all of our enemies and friends. So, yeah, what do you think, Jay?
Yeah. Did you guys know Indiana? What is it? George? Not George. Gary. Gary, Indiana. Do you know how long they've been out of power?
Over a week?
They're going on 3 weeks.
Oh, God. I saw a video of a black lady in her car saying people are getting robbed and kidnapped and all sorts of stuff. You have to like really like plan your escape from your car to your house.
I
Yeah.
haven't even heard about this.
Really?
Why have I not heard about this?
It's really bad. Yeah.
12 days without power in Gary, Indiana.
Yeah.
I've not heard about this.
They're going into week 3. Supposedly, um, the local mayor is gonna visit and like help do some relief and whatnot. But supposedly there was a major storm that hit Indiana and moved east, which also affected, I guess, Tennessee, Kentucky, um, New Jersey side. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Upper East. Um, but yeah, like they had storms, snowstorms up there. They had other types of these weather related events. Why is this much more um harder hit?
Devastating. Yeah.
Yeah. Like sure there's flooding, granted, yeah, but most of their infrastructure is up. It's not underground power cables. It's the power poles.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't bring those back online for what?
Yeah, you're correct. With the fires here, uh, the ground was still on fire and they were putting up new power poles. I got a buddy who does construction and he was posting videos of it. There was like fire still on the ground, burning out, of course, not, nothing crazy, but it was still burning and they're putting up new power poles and hooking the power back up.
Yeah, like nonchalantly just it's another day.
Is this like a micro test to see what these people do?
They're gauging the reactions.
Right.
And then if you multiply that nationwide, then you'll see what the, I guess, overall consensus of what people will react to and how to react. Like Indiana is a red state, and there's a lot
Yeah.
of pissed off people there. A lot of
Yeah.
people with guns too.
Yeah. All the people I know from Indiana told me it's really ghetto. I'm not sure how red of a state it is. I think it's a mix. Not that red states can't be ghetto, but I know it's a big mix there.
I
Yeah,
can't believe how long these fires have been going on around you, Austin.
I
It's
like 2 months,
insane.
dude.
That is insane. I'm sending you some pictures out of my mom's farm. She got a bunch of pictures of the fire burning less, like about a mile away from her house.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll forward them to the group, and you guys can share them or not. But
Well, I sent you guys that picture. Uh, what? It's been over a month, but when we went to bed, right before we went to bed, the sky's all orange.
mm,
Those were the flames you could see. And then we went to bed and we were pretty much getting, I was going around recording everything for insurance purposes,
yep.
and went to bed because we were like in level, whatever it was, like get ready, before they start ripping you out of your house. And woke up though, and it was windy and it blew it all the way southeast around another town and then went up the mountain. And now it's got a new name, which is really suspicious. They renamed this fire and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it's two fires." It wasn't. It went up the mountain, and now it's in actual woods, and it's huge.
Well, I got a good one. Speaking of exactly what you're talking about, there was a part where the fire started going out, and this is the fire near you. And my mom was telling me that they left a guy near the highway or the back road to kind of keep an eye on the smoldering, the ash and everything. And yeah, keep an eye on things. And
Mm.
then he magically left his post, and the fire jumped the road. And this is the picture of the fire hopping the road. I don't know if you can get any
Wow.
good shot,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was out. It was completely out, and then all of a sudden, dude disappears and whoosh, right up on
It
the other
looks like an
side.
accelerant, man.
Yeah, no kidding. My God, that's not just normal wheat field right there. My God.
No. How does it go from wheat field, which I was like, oh, it'll be out quick because it doesn't have the fuel, to jumping roads? It jumped a river to get over to those woods. And you can see on the map, because my wife was like, "There's no river there," and I'm like, "Look how it goes green and it follows the road, and all
Mm.
these green trees, really green. It's wet, and it's because that's the river that's there, and it hopped that, and then went through a bunch more wheat fields all the way up the mountain until it hit woods, and it's been there ever since, and it is just dumping smoke. So,
Well,
yep,
and we're all getting hit at the same time. Like, it's been an interesting past couple of years.
yeah,
More storms, flooding. I mean, even you guys had severe flooding and storms and fires and earthquakes and volcanoes and all sorts of shit is just going off at once right now. And I like to think of myself, I think we all like to think of ourselves relatively prepared compared to the masses. But one thing the storm out here just taught me, I've said to you guys, is nothing went according to plan. It's like
mm-mm.
everything that I was ready for, it just didn't work the way I thought it was going to. And I guess that's a good like test run because the power's back on and we can, kind of reassess and resupply. But I got humbled. It was bad.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
the audience, just give us like a overview of your experience, like when the storm started to hit, when the power came out, your experience with the power going out.
Oh, me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So, well, first of all, we had our own power station out here, Jay's aware of, I'm sure. There used to be a power station on the west side, and they shut that down because it was ran by coal, and they're all about the Green New Deal out here. And so then I don't know what they're using now to generate or bring in power, but I heard it was still running off of oil. Like whatever they're using to power the power stations, it's still running off of oil. So what they shut down really was our exclusive access to power out here. Now it's outsourced. But anyways, so we're all reliant on this grid system, and the grid system is so fragile. Anytime there's a storm, it gets knocked out. And it's like this past one, the Hurricane Lala that we had, the street lights, I mean, not street lights, the stoplights were out for a freaking week out here. And we had a few that would still pop on, but they had to eventually bring ones in with cement buckets to hold them down, just like little temporary ones, because there were so many stoplights out. And the interesting thing is there was less honking and what seemed like road rage, less of it with the street lights out where people were self-regulating than when the street lights are on and people are trying to, oh, it's yellow, I'm going to rush through last second, or red, boom. It was a lot more like people were being a lot more understanding and patient, it seemed like. But yeah, the way it started is we had the hurricane warning. Everybody knew it was coming and that it was really making a direct hit. It was coming in for like direct landfall. And that's really unusual to begin with because the hurricanes always kind of go up and around us. They go up around Big Island and then bounce off the outside of us. So we haven't had a direct hit in over a decade. And so, yeah, the thing is, people really underestimate storms now because we're so used to it. Everyone rushing and getting prepared and freaking out, and then nothing happening. Maybe a lawn chair tips over or something. So, sure enough, everyone's talking shit on the internet. Oh, it's going to be nothing. And then Big Island got hit first. They got devastated, and I think that would have been on Friday. Saturday rolls around. Power got knocked out at 3 in the morning for us, at least in my neck of the woods. And I thought to myself, okay, first thing I got to do is fill up the bathtub, get the emergency buckets outside filled up with water, and kind of prepare. But I was really expecting the power to turn back on within an hour or so, and it just kept going longer and longer, and then it would rain harder and harder, and it got to the point where it's like you're stuck in a house with no power, with the windows shut. It's hot as hell. Everyone's emotions are running high. We're stressed out, and I'm ready. My son, he's 2 years old. He's bouncing off the walls because he wants to do something. And it's like we're just all stuck in this like hot box together. So eventually, we started to accept the power's not coming back on. So I busted out the electric generators, which I'm so proud to have. These solar powered generators I spent all this money on, and I hooked them up to my fridge. And maybe it's because it's an older fridge, maybe it draws more power, but I was doing intermittent, charging. Like, okay, cool the fridge down, leave it unplugged, and keep the door shut. The freaking solar generators I have lasted me like two of them 16 hours, and they're kaput. And so that was a real wake up call. And every time you open the damn windows because it's so hot, rain is whipping through the windows and getting everything wet. So we're freaked out and getting soaked. And then finally, by the end of the day, oh well, then another issue we were having is down the street from us, the internet company Hawaiian Telcom. They have this huge ass generator which just looked like a rust bucket. I'm surprised this thing is even legal at this point. But anyways, they fired this damn thing up and it stunk the whole neighborhood out with diesel exhaust. I was going to try to find a picture of it here. I had, but anyways, yeah, just rancid ass diesel exhaust smell, and it would like permeate everyone's house. It smelled like exactly like they say when you shut, like somebody commits suicide by turning their car on in their garage. That's what it smelled like. And they always say with generators, make sure it's in a well ventilated area. But fucking A, it just got stuck right in this neighborhood. And so eventually the neighbors called the fire department. Fire department's here trying to locate the smell, and they're like, well, we can only do so much. We either knock out their communications by turning off the generator, or you guys deal with it. And so we're like, stuck breathing this shit in. There's no power to fumigate the house to get the freaking fans on. So yeah, it was a real mess. And then finally I got fed up and I said, that's it. You know what? We're going to go to the mall. The mall's got power and we'll hang out there. At least there's going to be some AC maybe and some food. So I go to get in my damn car, and the car's got 2 inches of water in it. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh,
Where the fuck did this water come from?
God, man.
The windows are up, the doors were shut, and I don't know. There was one little wet spot about this big on the ceiling, but to put that much water in the car, I would imagine there would be a more obvious sign of where it's.
Right.
Anyways, it's like everything that I thought, like, okay, this is going to be good, it was a mess. It was humbling. The good
Yeah.
thing, I'll just to wrap this up, is so we pay for gas for our stove and for our water heater, which sucks. It's expensive. But when it came to the power being out, our stove could still turn on and cook things, and then the freaking hot water heater, as long as the pilot stayed lit, we were still getting hot water. So we took like 4 showers each throughout the day because we were just sweating like our asses off.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we got our power back on about 26 hours later. My neighbor did, I'm talking right next door to me. The neighbor house did not get their power back on for 2.5 days.
Damn.
Oh shit, poor guys. So anyways, yes, it was a good trial run, I guess you could say.
That's crazy. When we first moved in here, and I guess even before that, the power, the amount of times that it went out in the past, let's just say year, way more than I've ever experienced in my entire life. Even when we moved houses too. And also sometimes it's not even on top of that, right? Because your internet goes out, everything goes out with the power out.
Mm.
Other incidences where we had power, but the internet went down too. I mean, we're talking 16 incidences of this in the past year. And yeah, I thought it was bad when it was like 6-7 hours, and half of it I was at work somewhere else, but 2.5 days.
Yeah, fuck that.
I mean,
And
when
this
it's
is
crazy.
Well, imagine those guys in Indiana
Right.
over 2 weeks.
That's
and
what
the,
I want to know. If I'm going to do it, I'm like, let me know it's not going to come on, and I'll just get in that mindset and go screw it. But we all have kids. I'm sure the first thing they think is, can I play my tablet? Or,
Yep.
the light's not working. I turned on the barbecuer and barbecued a damn pizza, man. I'm like, I'm ready for it. It's the inconvenience, I think,
Hmm.
that bugs me. But if you're like, it's not coming back on, I think I'm like, let's do this then. Let's start chipping out walls and making a fire in the living room and shit like that. I'm ready for it. But yeah, to not know, that's the thing. And
This
it'll
is that
just change.
generator that they were freaking, I mean, sending the exhaust right there at the top there. You can see just blasting that sucker. This thing looks like it belongs in
That
the
thing's
dump, man.
huge.
It's huge. It's like the size of
Yeah.
half of a fire truck. And this thing
Yeah.
was just shooting that exhaust right at us. But yeah, you ain't wrong. It's the mindset of like, when's it coming back on? When you fully
Mm.
can, like you said, accept it and get into that mode, it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
And like we have all these little backup, portable phone charger
Yep.
generator things. We have 5 of them. We only had 2 of them charged, and I'm like, why the fuck are only 2 of them charged? This is part of preparedness. Our little lantern that we had,
Yeah.
not charged. The little fans we had, not charged. And I'm just like, so yeah, when we found out, because the news was we were supposed to get hit again this weekend with another hurricane. Luckily, it did go down and around us. And then there's another one following this one. Because of this super El Nino, 2026, 2027 is supposed to be even worse. It's just like a generator for hurricanes. So we're in for a hell of a hurricane season this year.
There's
And
something going on. It
yeah,
feels like testing. Every time I hear about this in Hawaii, it feels like manipulation in a test. And how unfair is that the mall has power? There should be laws on that.
right.
As these businesses, like, you should have to, especially like, think if grandma's hooked up to something at home, they should have to reallocate like their power capabilities to shit that matters.
Well, like you're saying, manipulated. This is the word around the bird bath right now is that it was the harp generating
Mm,
these things and steering them because of the pink skies. And I showed you guys the pink sky, but I'll show it again here. Yeah, we step outside and it's like everything was pink out of
that's weird.
nowhere. It
That's
was.
weird.
I mean, it is like super pink too. So, anyways, yeah, like where the hell did this come from? I know sunrise, sunset, you can get this effect, but this was not that. So, anyways, yeah, weird shit going on during that time.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
done.
If you think it's bad right now in the summer, this super El Nino is going to carry into winter.
Mm.
And in my neck of the woods down in Texas, it might be another repeat of 2021, that Texas freeze.
People died.
Yeah. And if our grid is being strained right now, because there's a lot of people using electricity to cool down their houses, their businesses, their buildings. If it happens again, this Texas freeze, it's another power draw also. And even more worse, it's during, you know, the cold season.
What was a real wake up
Plus,
call from? Oh, go ahead.
plus potential diesel shortage. Because the
Mm.
thing that got us limping along in 2021 was diesel. Once they
Hmm.
got it to unfreeze.
Yeah. It's getting wild. It really feels like under the Biden administration, when they were trying to push everyone into electric vehicles. Again, everyone's got I mean, you look at any house in California, they're just covered in solar panels, I'm sure. Um, Probably your guys' areas too. But using solar, and it's just not going to work. I mean, they were making emergency orders back in June. It looks like authorizes PJM to direct transmission owners to curtail data centers and other large energy consumers with at least 50 megawatt of peak load, requiring them to switch to their own backup generators within 15 minutes of an emergency signal. So that's good. I mean, they're telling them to shut down and use their own power. Specified generating units as needed and grants temporary relief from environmental permit restrictions, allowing power plants to run at maximum output beyond normal sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and other emission limits. So the problem is our electrical grid is crap, right? And it's getting really hot and heavy on the system right now that they're going, oh, just forget about all the emissions, run it as hard as you can. And they're even, the guys in control of everything, slowing down data centers or having them shut down just a little bit. We're overloading something that cannot be overloaded. And it's what it appears to be is that the government is holding off the bad news, which I learned last night is this whole oil problem that we have might not go away for 20 years.
Definitely not.
Yeah,
It's,
20 years.
Did you guys know that even though we're pumping oil out of our local oil reserves, it's not the right oil for diesel. Did you guys know that?
No,
I
I
did not
didn't.
know that. I knew it's crappy.
Yeah, so like the oil that's being pumped out, mainly here in Texas, New Mexico area, um, it's considered light and sweet. So there's I guess four categories. It's either light or heavy, and sweet or sour. The one that you want for diesel specifically is heavy and sour, because once you refine it, you get diesel. I forgot what light and sweet does. I think it's like for plastics and stuff. But heavy, the one you want for fuel is heavy and sour.
Well, it's a damn shame they've killed all those people who came up with hydrogen operated vehicles and running off of cooking oil and shit like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, the water engine.
Yep. One thing
Yeah.
this hurricane showed me was, especially running those electric generators, is what draws the most power out of my house. And I was shocked with how much power my air fryer
Oh, yeah.
takes. Holy shit! I plugged the electric generator in, and you run a fan and a fridge, and it will say like, at my old place I used to live at with all brand new appliances, it would say I could run the fridge for like 24 hours. I put the air fryer on here and it brought that thing down to 6 hours if I ran that air fryer. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's taking more than the fridge. Yeah. So yeah, the way you don't really know how much you're really consuming. You can look at your bill and complain, why the hell is my power bill so high? But little things like portable
don't get me
ACs.
started.
Yeah,
I just paid $500,000 for utilities this month.
Oh God, that's about what we pay too,
Jeez.
Yeah.
with gas and electricity though. But yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's not normal. Like
But
when I first moved here, it was under $100. I mean, and it goes up, the bigger place you get, but the one before this was like $250. So yeah, it doubled. So again, Strait of Hormuz flows unlikely to normalize soon. Repairs the Gulf refineries targeted by Iranian attacks expected to take months. So right here, they're saying months. The data I saw last night, made a video on it. It's supposed to take years to catch up, because not only are we like behind in how much we need and how much we're using that we can't replace. Not only do they not have the oil, they're unable to refine it. And at this moment in time, unable to move it. So China stopped making it and selling it because they can't import it, because no one's exporting it. Russia's in the same position where like all their refineries and everything is damaged due to the Ukraine war. And then, yeah, like every country right now knows they're screwed. So they're not giving it to anyone else because they can't make enough for just themselves. So that supply chain reaction and then needing to still get more time in order to fix this stuff, it's supposed to take years. And also make sure to subscribe, everybody. Get some more people in here if you hit that like button. And comment, let us know what you think. But yeah, weather, energy of all sorts, it's all being attacked. And it's definitely part of a plan. Why do you think that is, Jay?
The weather part?
Just all of it. It seems like it's all happening at the same time together, right? So I believe it's part of somebody's plan, but why? because it's affecting the
Uh,
entire world, not just certain countries. It's everybody.
well, I think it's not any one single person's plan. There's many agendas that's happening, and it so happens to be um, coinciding with each other to make like a perfect storm type of situation. Because who knew that there's going to be a super El Nino this year, on
Right.
top of flock cameras being massively deployed onto streets,
Yep.
and then on top of it being a midterm election.
Hmm.
Like there's so many things in play, so many people's plans going on, that it could seem this whole thing could be run by one person, but it could just be um, all these little individual planners, I guess,
Hmm.
just piggybacking off of each other, whether they know it or not.
Right.
And I guess the overall consensus with everyone in the conspiracy theory area is um, they want to crash the dollar, they want to make the US the bad guy, and they want to make people suffer.
Hmm.
And people are already suffering, like inflation, cost of living. Um, I'm I'm personally expecting gas spiking back up,
Oh, absolutely. It already
and
is.
I think at least $10 a gallon.
Damn.
I want to get some ahead of time. Everyone that I listen to or friends, we talk, say stock up on gas while you can. But I'm thinking, where the hell can I put it? Like, where would you guys say is a safe place? Can you put it on your patio under a tarp, or what is appropriate gas storage?
Out of
Well,
the
you're only allowed to have a certain amount, I'm pretty sure, or else you're gonna have like the feds kicking your door down.
Yeah,
I
on
Yeah,
our
I guarantee
farm,
it. I guarantee it. Yeah.
but that's totally different with farm equipment. But we have them big.
Hmm.
You know, we first of all we have a huge propane canisters the size of that generator you saw, and then we got the big gas ones lifted off the ground with an actual pump on it. But that's a farm. You know, I'm talking about
Right.
in here, like Jason at Four, a guy that we watch on YouTube, he keeps talking about get some gas cans as emergency. Don't, and that's another thing with those electric generators. I was running them like the power was come back on in an hour. So moving forward, I will be a lot more particular about what's going to be plugged into that damn thing. But same with the gas. I'm going to have a gas can for emergency use, but that's not going to be a trip to book off to go look for video games. It's going to be
Right.
whatever,
Survival. Yeah.
survival mode. So where
Keep
would you
your
guys
car
put it?
filled. I have 3 vehicles. If it starts doing getting over, if it gets over $5, I'm gonna go fill up everything, keep
Hmm.
it filled, and yeah, I would keep a couple like 5 gallon, you know, um, stored to the side just to make sure, and it would be strictly for more gas in the vehicle. Like
yeah,
vehicle's filled up, you load everything up, you need to get somewhere probably pretty far. And I mean, in your situation, I don't know exactly what your plan is, but for me, I'd be driving quite a distance and I would, it's not in this situation, I just need to get there. I don't have to get back. And a lot of people are going to run out of gas before they get there. So it's kind of like I don't have to outrun the bear, I just have to outrun you. So I would just have extra gas saved for that because honestly, I don't have anything that's I don't have a big generator that I would be using for that. Right? I'd be using more propane for cooking and stuff like that, or just fire. But I don't have. It's not like the heat in my house. I can just hook up gasoline to and heat my house. You know, so it'd be strictly for vehicles. Nope,
Another
you're
thing with
there.
those,
You are.
sorry about that. The
You're good.
my neighbors, I was talking about 2.5 days no power. The worst part is they had a gas generator, but because everybody in the neighborhood was so up in arms about the fumes from that one down the street, he's like, I daren't run it because then all of a sudden I'm going to have a riot outside my house. He's like, I could put it out front but then I can't keep an eye on it. I put it off to the side, and it's gonna, fumigate the whole freaking block. So that's another situation you got to consider about living in town. You could have all the resources to survive, but then how are these resources going to affect everybody else around you? Be it a beacon that says, "Let's go rob the shit out of this guy," like they're dealing with in Indiana. That you got to see that video. If I find it, I'll share it with you, Austin. But this woman's in her car and she's like freaked out because she's loading her gun. She's got her super bright flashlight and she is getting ready to go in her house from getting her groceries. And she's like, "I can't believe it, but this is how I got to roll because people are getting carjacked right outside their front door because the power's been out. It's pitch black."
Yeah, that's what my concern would be, is having a gun and making sure. I don't know. It seems like, yeah, running a generator like that, if it was 12 days without power, you're just asking for someone to come murder you and steal your stuff
Mm-hmm.
at that point. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'd probably be just to get further than I could on a full tank. But yeah, I don't know. And at $10 a gallon, I mean, who knows?
And then at that point, it's like at $10 a gallon, sure, but will there even be gas available? Will there be a
Right.
limit to how much
That's
gas?
going to be the thing. Yeah, they'll run out. Back
Yep.
in 2017, I was in a place where you could see the full solar eclipse. So a bunch of people, came through, like crazy amount of people came through, and it was out in the middle of nowhere. All the gas stations ran out of gas,
Oh,
which
jeez.
was a weird feeling, right? I didn't need any, but it was a weird feeling going, I could not fill up if I wanted to. And yeah, that's the first thing that's going to go. You're right. It's going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple cans filled prior would be, I mean, the best idea,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. It's a lot of walking.
I've been also using that ethanol-free gas ever since you guys had brought that up. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give that a shot, and it's 20 cents more expensive per gallon, but I feel like, yeah, it does last a little bit. That's the idea, right? Ethanol is just a filler, like a cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it'll break down your engine
Yeah. Okay.
like
Yeah. The
really
only
quickly.
the only place I know that sells that is 76, I think, or
Yeah,
Shell.
not everyone, all of them do.
Yeah, there's one place though, and that's where I've been focusing on is getting the ultra premium or the ethanol free. And if I fill up some tanks, I'll probably do that.
Yeah.
Got to stretch it. What a world we live in right now. My God.
I
I mean,
know.
talk about politics and the gay agenda and, change, cutting kids' dicks off and shit. But now,
Oh,
now we're talking about all the doomsday kind of prepper shit coming to
yep.
fruition now.
This is what they don't want us talking about, and that's why I titled this live stream this way. And gotta talk about it. Gotta talk about it. So, what has it been? 2 weeks, week and a half. Wife came up to me. I'm like, "What are you listening to?" Because she loves true crime. Well, it's this trial that's happening. This lady killed her kids. Right? I'm like, oh, okay, and conspiracy tinfoil hat on. I was like, well, it's weird that you even know about it, right? I get you're into true crime, but I didn't realize, and then I did, how big of a case it was. You couldn't open up a search browser, like open up my phone without seeing, 20 videos about this case. And I'm like, that's weird. Because if anyone else, murders their family, it'll be, one blimp on the radar, the map of the news of what we live in. The next 10 things will be about Trump shit in his pants. But this has been consistent for like 2 weeks now. And I said right from the beginning, I was like, crazy conspiracy theorist, right? It could all be fake. There's a reason they want us looking at it. I mean, I said, even if the kids exist or existed, and this isn't some weird thing, just throwing it out there. Like, I always look at these major events like it's a movie, right? And in movies, everything you see on the screen is not an accident. They want you to see everything. So when they're going, hey, look at this, I just go, oh, another distraction. But why? Then it blows up. The Lindsay Clancy trial. You got women holding their newborn babies saying, me too, Lindsay. Not because they're sad or depressed. They may be. But what they're saying is, I also feel like murdering my baby. And it just blew my mind. There's other theories that the husband did it. This is all a big show. It's a big conspiracy that they're going to flip it around. The other one is that she shouldn't be held, culpable for it because she was on all these medications, and it's the doctors, and she was screaming for help and wanted help, and come to find out she was not on all these medications. She was only on a couple and barely enough to, not any extra either. So it's divided people. I said it yesterday. I was like, I miss the old conspiracy theories where here's the rabbit hole. You can go down as deep as you want. You can come up with other conclusions. But these conspiracies are like SpongeBob like piece of cheese with all these holes through it. We can't agree on one foundational fact, right? And I realize it's a psyop. It's made to divide. Also in the news was the Austin Metcalf trial, the black kid that stabbed the white kid in the heart. They were just trying to redo the trial. Come to find out, because both sides left evidence out. Because they were trying to say that the white kid painted some racist stuff on a wall one time, and then the black kid actually texted his girlfriend that day a picture of his knife and said, "I'm like on the break and I'm gonna hurt somebody." Like admitted that he wanted to kill somebody that day. Later killed the kid that day. They tried to do the trial again. It just got shut down by a judge. So there you go. The blacks are very angry. Dividing. White and black, of course. People with a brain and people with emotions is what it is. And with this Lindsay Clancy case, there's people going left, right, everywhere. Well, what it's doing is there's thousands of people outside that courthouse during the week, or have been, and in support of her. They think she should be free. All while knowing that, and the more the facts come out, the more they get delusional. So fact, she already admitted to it. That's not why they're there. They're just to see if she's crazy or going to prison. She ordered takeout and asked her husband to go pick up Motrin for children. And then systematically, while he was out in less than an hour, strangled all 3 of her kids with exercise bands. I believe it was planned. Doesn't matter what I believe, though. That's the important part of this. I don't believe that it matters about either of these trials. We shouldn't even see them. It doesn't matter our emotions on it, because the only reason we're seeing this stuff is to divide. And I instantly thought, oh, it's to get the left riled up, because that's exactly what it's doing right before midterms, because the Democrats have no good players in the game, right, for this election. And I dig a little deeper, and I'm like, okay, but it's also doing the same thing on, the conservative side. I think this is what it is, the distraction. I think everything we're just talking about, that's why we're seeing these crazy cases, right? If Joe down the street murders his family, it's not going to be national news. It's not going to be live streamed. You don't see this stuff. This is like Amber Heard, Charlie Depp,
Charlie
that one,
Kirk, Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. Yeah, the Charlie Kirk trial. Those are big ones. Like, what are these things, though? We're only seeing them to divide. And I think it's to get people back in line. Like, I'm blue, red is my enemy. I'm red, blue is my enemy. When in fact, the elites are systematically destroying our future. Seemingly and possibly for the next 20 years. So, yeah, get used to gas prices and eggs being unaffordable for a long time.
Well, it's interesting you bring up the that distraction, because a local news here in Hawaii, I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was, just down the street from where I work at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, they found the body of a young lady in the trash can, in a dumpster. And no local news would cover it whatsoever, would not touch it with a 10-foot pole. So all the local, like, boots on the ground kind of people, Instagram news people and stuff, are all covering it, investigating, and come to find out it was a Southwest Airlines flight attendant who was here on a quick break before flying to the next stop. And then there was rumors going around that she had jumped from her hotel room window and splat on the ground. But then how did she end up in a dumpster? And then there was also word that all of her belongings in the hotel room were cleared out, and then that officials were going to the other flight attendants that worked with her saying, you are not allowed to talk about this whatsoever. And still to this day, we have no mainstream media willing to talk about this. But it is like the most talked about, not talked about thing going on the island right now, is this flight attendant that just mysteriously wound up dead in a dumpster at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, but nobody knows how exactly. There's all these speculations, and why won't the mainstream media talk about it?
Very interesting. Yeah. So that's probably a real case because it's
Mm-hmm.
not being force fed. They've weaponized our algorithms. See, I don't think that people come up with the theories like about that case. I think that they're being trickled out. And then a
Mm.
bunch of people subscribe to this and run off with it. A bunch of people, each which way it's being directed. So something like that where they're trying to cover it up, that's something I'd put my money on and go, this happened.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Where was that at?
Hilton Hawaiian Village, Southwest Airline flight attendant. And you wouldn't believe the amount of people that come out here to kill themselves, to jump out of their hotel room. It happens a lot. I just
Yeah,
last
I was
year,
gonna say that, dude.
three
There's a
people,
lot of
man.
people.
Yep, they come out here, do one last hoorah, and jump out. But
That's weird that that's all there is for that right there.
is there any coverage of it? Oh yeah,
There was one.
there you go. Finally, because yeah, this has been 9.
24 years. No official manner of death has been released as her hometown grieves and waits for answers from across the Pacific.
Yeah, it's people are saying like if you have young, daughters or your wife or anybody, don't walk late at night by yourself. All the preparedness, kind of cautionary stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
if she jumped, then why are we all on eggshells? What happened?
Right. Because that's what we would need is like, when was she leaving? The time.
Hmm.
What's like her ticket or whatever say, right? Was she outside like leaving with her stuff and something happened and they're like, oh, she must have jumped?
There are freaking cameras on every street light. There's cameras
Ah, you're right.
all over the freaking hotel. If
So
she
they
jumped,
know.
they know. They absolutely know. Yep.
Wow. That reminds me of like the alleged Portland serial killer. It's some black guy who paints his nails who's been going around trying to murder homeless women. And it's like the police aren't doing anything about it. It's like a rumor, and homeless women keep talking about it. Like he tried to like drag one into his van or something, and she barely got away. And like homeless women are showing up, like they're finding them dead, like murdered. And I guess he was just up in Seattle, like new rumors about it. He was up in Seattle, and then he's going up the West Coast. Insane. I wonder if it's something like that or something more
Mm.
nefarious, Because yeah, being connected to that airline for 24 years.
Yep. Yeah. Right when we got all this storm business going on and power outages and people in an uproar about this and that, just another, hey, it's almost like the reverse psychology method of, we're not going to talk about it, don't talk about it, don't do this, and then they know that it's going to steer people away from whatever else they really don't want you looking at. It's like telling a kid, don't do this because you would like them to do it, kind of deal.
I got money that they think it's a serial killer.
Mm.
Because look at this. Can you see the news?
Yeah, yeah.
What the hell? The story I was just looking at disappeared. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. It's all about people waiting for power,
Everything else,
festival,
strikes.
everything else.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
What the fuck
But
is
you hit
going
news,
on?
it's not there. Very interesting. Yeah, any other topics you want to hit, Jay, while we're at it?
Um, Did you guys hear about the study about 18 months no power? It goes back to the whole grid. Like our grid is really crappy and old, and if something were to happen, something really bad like cybersecurity, like cyber attacks or natural disasters, like anything, it will take 18 months to recover from it. And you would have to expect like within that 18 months of just straight up no electricity from the grid.
I've not heard about that. That's not the one where they were like, no, it's not. But there was one where a bunch of people lived in caves for like probably that long.
No, no. So this was like a New York Times article that they published a study of the worst case scenario. Um, it was like it was trying to answer the what if scenario of what if this happens. And I guess the conclusion with that article was it'll take 18 months just to even get back and up and running because
Oh God.
just say transformers needs to be replaced, like all these electrical stations, they have damaged components. We don't make those components here. It's
Yeah.
all in China.
And we've been getting hacked too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are biding our time when it comes to energy.
Well, that was one of the big things going around news-wise when the power went out. Is it was so devastated that they were actually going to have to fly people in from the mainland, and we wouldn't have got. The rumor was we were not going to get power back on until Tuesday, and that's actually when my neighbor got power back on. Was Tuesday. It was like I said, 2.5 days later.
Hmm.
And I don't know what the hell, but like I said, even streetlights were knocked out. So, you know, I don't know. Like there was videos of people driving by power stations on fire, literally on fucking fire in the rain, and I'm just like, what the fuck happened? I mean, it was a storm, but it wasn't like a Category 4 or whatever 5 hurricane. It was
Right.
just Category 1, if that. But it jacked us up. So our grid is so sensitive out here, and you'd think, being out here in the middle of the Pacific with such a strong military presence, they would be a little more built up and prepared for stuff like this. But I don't know. I think we're going to be in deep shit if something goes wrong. I mean, really wrong. Year and
Reminds me
a
of
half.
oh sorry.
No, that's it.
Reminds me of gun control every time. Right? You can really see their agenda with gun control. Mysterious, like really weird shooting happens, right? And then they come out and say, it's all your fault. We need to take your guns because a bad guy with a gun. Every time something like this happens, they go, well, you guys are just selfish, spoiled pieces of crap who need to stop using as much power. And in other countries, they have the carbon tax, right? That's what they were pushing. I keep going back to under Biden or under Biden. I got to do that every time. Sorry. But yeah, when they're trying to force everyone off the grid, right? I mean, how long would it take, I wonder, to completely remake like a new grid if everyone was completely off of it?
Well,
Is
it
that where
depends
we're
if
getting
they're
our 18 months?
yeah, it depends on if they're starting from scratch and burning a whole city down like Lahaina or California, whatever happened. If they're going to start from scratch and build up a new power grid, or if they're going to try to work it into the current
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure.
Oh,
That's
yeah, Jade. This is, yeah, the event when, yeah, the snipers attacked the power grid. I think we might have talked about this a little bit before. But yeah, no one knows who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're screwed once it's overloaded. Well, it's happening, guys. It's
like
happening.
after my experience, if I can give any advice, it would be to just go through, make sure if you are a prepper in any way, even if you're not, make sure you have maybe just some kind of strategy in your head, or check your supplies, make sure food isn't expired, make sure you have some water, make sure your power banks are actually charged,
Mm-hmm.
because I got caught with my pants down, and I like to think of myself as prepared and minded of this, so
Right.
don't be like me.
Yeah, it's like cycle counting. Like, don't just put it all away and expect it to be good, right? Like, if you have storable food, animals could get into it. You know, if
Mm-hmm.
you have power banks and stuff, they can slowly drain. You know, nothing worse than going to grab the only flashlight you have and the batteries are dead.
Mm-hmm.
You
Or
know,
all fucking corroded.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's nuts. Well, boys, any last thoughts on these topics or anything else? We're about
I,
that time.
I got one last thing, just real quick, a little more positive note. So, we think of ourselves what we like to think of ourselves as preppers is somebody that can kind of take care of others, take care of the people around us that we care about. But to an extent, and you want to make those relationships with your neighbors so that everybody can play a role and contribute to the greater survival of the group. And one thing that really blew my mind with this hurricane was these neighbors directly across from me. We don't talk very much, but they actually came over with a bag full of batteries, a lantern, and two flashlights, a super high beam one and just a little one for my son to use. And gave it to us and gave one to everybody in our unit. There's only 4 units, but gave everybody in our little apartment a little survival kit. And I was like, holy shit. And then, like
Yeah,
I,
that's
I
amazing.
said, my neighbors, their power didn't come back on, other neighbor. So I brought them my solar bank generators once our power was back on. And it's like, in those moments, as chaotic and scary as it can be and stressful, it really also shows people's true colors. And I think little gestures like that go a long way. So kind of do unto others, pay it forward. Just like we've said in the past, kind of build those relationships and figure out who you live around and how you can kind of help each other. A lot better success that way.
Amen, dude.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that before you hopped on. How everywhere you go, it seems like nobody wants to do their job. Everyone's in a bad mood. Just negativity. And I've been getting closer to God, I would like to say, as of late, just because of everything that's going on. And I got this stronger like calling, and I've been through that. I've been able to be a lot more positive with it. I know they're going through stuff before, like old version, younger version of me didn't care. But now I care. I think that shows humanity, and that's the beautiful thing like about the US is that we are a giant community, of patriots that used to take care of each other. And I think in crazy times it calls for more of that. But I think, yeah, if it all goes to hell, we're going to be seeing a lot of people picking each other up. And it'd be cool if we could see that more in the daily lives. And hopefully here soon there is like a dramatic change in society. But yeah, that's amazing to hear. People helping. They had the forethought. They prepped for you. And I guess
Mm-hmm.
that's something we've never talked about before, right? If you can make some sort of, prep bag or something that you can go distribute to people. I mean, because how many, little old ladies on their last legs, are living around you, and they don't get this kind of information. They're not ready or physically unable to. Just showing up
Mm-hmm.
could save a life.
Well, and the less desperate people around you, the less risk as
That
well.
too. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Make friends, because when you need them, you need them.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are feeling what you're feeling. And when you asked us that in the group recently, that really spoke to me because I'm feeling that calling too. It's like the more evil we see being exposed, the more I just am drawn towards Christ. And the more
Yeah.
I want to emulate that around, the world. Just try to be that light in the world because oh my god. So yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to feel that, and I think we will start to see more people going out of their way to help each other. As much as society is devolving, I think we're going to see that spiritual evolution.
Absolutely. I think you start taking away the first world issues or toys, because I mean, cell phones, technology, it's just a problem for people. Once you take that away, people get angry, but I think then they start going back to what actually matters, right? Like you wipe out the electricity, all of a sudden you're meeting people you haven't met before. Maybe not your situation, but I see that. And you see that a lot. Like earlier when we were talking about the fires here, the community has really gotten together And now they might be pissed together, but at least they're together, about how the situation happened. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Any thoughts on that, Jay?
Not that specific thought, but it's good that in times of crisis you can always lean on your fellow human being.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might be all grumpy as hell and like antisocial, but when stuff hits the fan, you tend to open up because you're in the same spot as everyone else.
Yeah, the great equalizer.
We're all in
Yeah,
this together.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I want to close out saying all the stuff that I've been mentioning over the past couple years. We're here. This is it. Over the next year, it's not going to get any easier because we're on a trajectory in which everything is going to keep going up in costs. The weather right now is causing mayhem with farm uh, farmland. Harvest is not going to be good this year, and even planting next year. If uh, super El Nino winter screws up the cycle of spring, and then on top of that, if you don't have diesel to move goods around, your crops are going to fail. You can't get fertilizer coming in. You cannot ship out your goods, so they're just going to sit there and rot. And the farmer's going to be SOL because they're not getting paid. They got they got crop that they can't sell or move. You got people who's waiting for those goods, whether it be in a good spot of the country where there's no disasters, there's no power outage, like everything's good, but they can't get anything because of diesel shortages or inflation or whatever. It technically it started this early this summer, but the chain reaction has started, and if you're not prepped now, you better go out in the store and get something, or else you're going to be competing with your next door neighbor with something like
Yeah.
their food, maybe.
Remember COVID and the toilet paper. That's going to be everything you actually need. And for example, what you were saying about the weather and I mean crops this year, we had on this side, we had a crappy winter, which means we technically drought, right? When you don't have a good winter, you have an abundance of insects. Insects eat the crops, and like you said, fertilizer. They're not getting that. Pesticides, I'm sure, as well. But then the fires. So, what didn't get eaten by the bugs or dried up because of the lack of rain burned down?
Yeah. So next year is going to be interesting, but it'll be much more interesting to see how how people not react, deal with this coming winter.
Yeah, people need to get their shit together.
Yeah.
I saw
Start now
this.
before it's too late.
Yep. There was a video I saw. I'm not going to be able to quote it verbatim, but this guy was talking about coincidences, and he's like, a lot of people keep saying, "What a coincidence! This happened," and such and such. And he said, the fact of the matter is, a lot of this, as we say, is pre-planned. It's being fulfilled, and so it's not really a coincidence. And really, it's more rare to see something coincidentally happen than
Mm-hmm.
what we're actually seeing happen and believing. I mean, is actually pre-planned. So, as we stated, we went through from 2016 forward different stages, from like a financial restructuring to shining lights on all the pedophilia, human trafficking, the drug issues, the corruption in different countries, China's backdoor deals, and now we're finally getting to that final stage, which is that revelations, kind of cataclysmic events, ring of fire, all this stuff happening. So yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think this is all part of prophecy or whatever, but this was meant to happen. No coincidence about it. So yeah, be prepared. Take it serious.
Absolutely. And speaking of coincidences, want to bring this up real quick. That Lindsay Clancy case, she had allegedly postpartum depression. That's what caused it all. That's why she got this medication. Her husband's name is Patrick. So Lindsay and Patrick, I'm sure you guys might have seen this already. And she had slit her wrist the wrong way. She's a nurse, so she shouldn't have done that if she wanted to kill herself. Slit her throat and then jumped out a window and is paralyzed. Well, all of a sudden, this new case just came out. This new thing happened where a husband killed his wife. His name is Patrick. His wife's name is Lindsay, and she had postpartum depression, and he slit her throat. So when you start seeing that stuff, same name, same injuries, same time frame, it's like them rubbing it in your face that it's not a coincidence. And I'll say again that like mathematically, you can't have two coincidences with the same situation. That's why I
Dude,
always say if there's three, it's impossible and it's right in front of your face. So
well,
they
you
gave
know,
us
it's just
two.
here's a third one for you. Remember that guy I was telling you about years ago back in our hometown that attacked his family?
Yeah.
He stabbed both of the kids, slit his wife's throat, cut his own wrists, and then, kind of a similar structure to the
Situation.
situation. Yeah. What the fuck
Yeah.
is going on with that?
I think it's demonic possession.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think that's it.
to flip like that, it's got to be. There's some kind of
Well, it's the
extra.
same things with the rituals. I saw it was pointed out, like with George Floyd, it was the neck. Oh crap, and I just forgot him. What was the other? This case, it was the neck.
Charlie Kirk was a neck.
Charlie Kirk. There you go. It was the neck, and then there was another one. But like recently, all these weird, possibly rituals have been around the neck,
Mm.
and that's like, yeah,
Well,
interesting.
interesting. Robin Williams died from strangulation. Supposedly it was a sexual thing or whatever. We're told, but you
I've
know,
never heard that.
yeah, they were.
I've never heard that.
What
I've
What did you
never
hear
heard.
it was?
I heard he just killed himself because he was depressed. I didn't hear anything about it being some
Yeah,
sort of fetish.
no, no, no. What I heard was I thought this was like the official story, but
Mm.
forgive me, Robin, if it isn't. What I heard was it was that thing where you strangle yourself and then release it last second, and you're
Yeah, yeah,
supposed
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, and apparently that's what happened, and just
I
didn't.
never heard that one. I've heard other people doing it, but I've never heard about Robin Williams. That's a crazy way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
Anyways,
anyway, thanks guys for coming. It's been a great one.
thanks for having us.